Down there on the right side of the field. That is Mr. Rob Collings in the cockpit from the Collings Foundation. Rob is now lifting the Wildcat right up and off the ground. Let's listen in to the sound of the engine and the mighty Grumman FM-2 Wildcat. Rob Collings getting a workout this morning. There's a tiny crank inside that cockpit that you have to get on with your left hand or right hand there and start. Today, Rob Collings and the Collings Foundation of Stowe, Massachusetts, offered this airplane at displays just like this to help tell the story of those brave men of World War II who fought against unseen odds over hostile territories and places that few of us have even heard of today, all in hopes of preserving our freedoms that we so enjoy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from the left on a beautiful photo pass, please welcome Mr. Rob Collings and the Collings Foundation's Grumman FM-2 Wildcat. Wildcat wasn't the fastest thing in the sky. It had a speed of around 318 miles an hour. But the Wildcat could outperform and fly faster than some of the longer range Mitsubishi A6M0 pilots trained with back then, resulted in an air combat kill to loss ratio of 5.9 to 1. And that was back in 1942. Later, after the entire war was over, the little Wildcat had a 16 That little airplane, ladies and gentlemen, was truly one of the defenders of our freedoms, and it's often overlooked to guys like the P-51 or even the Bearcat. 56 all the way to full power. You'll hear the 1,350 horses cranking underneath the galley here on this next pass. Let's watch now as Rob executes the turnaround maneuver there on the left side of the field and brings it back. Here we go, from the left, ladies and gentlemen, the Collings Wildcat. The Collings Foundation, a nonprofit organization based in Stowe, Massachusetts, operates a number of World War II aircraft, including the barnstorming bombers that many of you have probably seen or heard of, perhaps even flown on. If you'd like to take a ride on a B-17 bomber, or maybe a B-24, even a B-25, the Collings Foundation can make that happen. Oftentimes you'll see these airplanes sitting quietly in the corner, just waiting to tell their stories. But right now, hear the roar of the Wildcat at Airshow Center. I was talking to Rob earlier today, and he said that if you are in the area of Stowe, Massachusetts, not too far from here, Father's Day weekend, put that on your calendar. They will be hosting their own event there called American Elegance. One of the great things about the Collings Foundation is that they not only operate vintage military aircraft, but they also have one of the foremost collections of American and foreign cars, all from the 1920s and 30s and even before. American Elegance will be going on Father's Day weekend there at their museum. Now from the left, the FM-2 Wildcat. The red stripe on the insignia there indicating that particular aircraft from the sea action from 1943. You see what went around it. One of the fine designators on this particular airplane. And a little local knowledge from the aviators out here that perhaps try to get a picture of this particular Wildcat. If you go back home, if you have a nice camera while you're shooting, you'll see a tiny window on the backside of the right-hand side of his airplane, right back around and brings her back for another pass. Rob is a pilot who has grown up around this stuff, and he sure enjoys sharing these airplanes with you today. The Grumman Wildcat, though, one of my favorites. It's one of the oftentimes overlooked aircraft of World War II because it fought so early in the war. As we said, it has mechanical landing gear on the front that you have to crank up with a bicycle-style crank. But it is such a killer in its own right. 6.9-to-1 kill ratio. Just listen to this. Great look at the underside of the Wildcat. A sight you wouldn't want to see if you were a Japanese troop out on an island somewhere. Rob would have just spotted you now, showing you some of the tight turning capabilities of this little airplane. In a dogfight, the Japanese pilots truly feared the Wildcat because it could simply outturn, it could outmaneuver most of the long-range fighters that they had back then, the long-range version of the Wildcat. Pardon me, of the Zero. Long-range version of the Zero was truly an equal match for this airplane. Let's watch now as Rob lowers the landing gear. He's cranking it down right now, and he's going to be lining up for an approach. Just imagine, if you would, you're on the deck of a carrier and you're watching this airplane land back in 1941. The deck is wildly pitching in the wind and the waves, but the little Wildcat's tailhook will come down and grab that number 3 wire. Rob is going to land so short in this airplane. Just watch. He's going to touch down and hardly use any runway at all. The little Wildcat can operate not only on the deck of a carrier, but on some of the smallest islands that our troops operated on in World War II. Let's watch now as Rob Collings lines her up on final approach. The Collings Foundation's Grumman FM-2 Wildcat. Let's watch for the touchdown spot. Right around the inside here. He's going to touch down and go long. He's going to park her down the other end. So there we go, right at Airshow Center. Rob Collings touching. He's going to keep the tail up here and expedite his taxi maneuver just a little bit, so he's not going to show you just how short that airplane can land. But trust me when I say that thing can get down and stop with a heartbeat. It can. You saw the takeoff. Please stand up and cheer, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Rob Collings, operating that gorgeous Grumman FM-2 Wildcat. Those particular airplanes, you just don't go down the Wildcat store and buy parts for it, no.